What's up guys, DC1983 Gaming Tech, and this is mobile gaming news, tips, and info. Well, not really, well there's tons of news, but this is going to be kind of like, you guys know I'm more of a handheld fanatic than more of a console fanatic. I just leave PC alone on the side. But when it comes to handheld, I really don't give a crap or give two shits about console war, because this is my handheld gaming, dedicated gaming devices on the go or killing time somewhere else in the house that's not in front of my TV, or on the road or on a trip or something like that, at a train station, bus station, airport, whatever. That's what they are to me, and I love them for that, regardless of what the company is. Now there's this thing going around with the whole Vita, the price drop and all this sort of stuff, and you know, people are taking their fair shares at Sony, you know, hitting them, uppercutting them and all that. And Sony just kind of deserved it for the way they were talking about the 3DS and all that. But what people don't know about the main story behind the 3DS, the Vita itself. Now, the Vita sold almost, it basically sold like 400 something thousand. I think they sold 325,000 the first 2 days and 72,000 for that whole 7-week run. Now, what people didn't know is Sony only shipped about 500,000 units. They were supposed to ship 700,000. They were shipping the last 200,000, and when people started sending off the issues and bugs and all that stuff to Sony, apparently it was quite a big set of complaints and issues, and you know, people talking about it. There were tons of people, upset people about the issues with the Vita and all that stuff. Even though I haven't seen anyone run into serious problem. I don't know all 500, all 300 or 400 and some odd thousand people. Now, Sony took this into seriousness and sent out an email saying that they're going to work on the issue. What they did was they postponed the 200,000 units that they were supposed to ship. The units that were left off were the 3G version. Now the 3G version isn't that hot, especially to the people in Japan. They don't really care for that. A lot of people that I know in the US don't really care for that either. Three main reasons. 3G on a handheld gaming device as you go, because of the Vita's limitations. I think it was 25 megabits per download. That's horrible unless Sony changes it when it gets here. And one of the other big main reason that no one is going to get that is because of AT&T. There are tons of, you may be an AT&T fan or AT&T customer for a long time, but there are tons of people that do not, I repeat, do not like AT&T. I'm one of them. My entire family is one of them. No one, I can't tell you any of my friends that I know that have AT&T. Just look at how people were quick to leave T-Mobile if AT&T would have bought them. I think T-Mobile lost like what, 30,000 customers because of that, and as soon as the deal closed, they were going to lose a few million. That's just how bad that company seems to some people, and they won't deal with it. So why would they deal with it on a handheld console? So we're going back into the Japan thing. Oh yeah, I forgot the third thing. The third reason why people won't buy the 3G version, battery. The battery alone isn't that great, and with the 3G version it burns more, because running on GSM, which basically running antenna all the time, kind of kills your battery life. And it's the 3G version of the Vita isn't coming with a bigger MLA batteries. It's just going to be the same thing. It's not going to be anything bigger. Which I don't think they found anything. I haven't looked into anything. By the way, I'm tired. I didn't do any research on this. I've just been seeing a lot of stuff, and I've been taking too long making these videos. But I don't know. YouTube's kind of getting boring. But back to the whole Japan thing. The reason the Japan audience aren't really buying the 3G version, which are the ones that they've cut the price on for. You know what I mean? The what do you call it, on the 3G version to 20%. Some stores, some local stores. Now, this isn't official by Sony. This is what the retail store is doing. retail stores, not official retail stores. Someone gets the inside joke on that with a beef that I had a few weeks ago. It's not official. It was the retail store. It's not official by Sony. It won't be official by Sony. Sony already is losing money on the Vita. A lot of people are going to be like, yes, it's losing money already at launch because the original price of it was going to be $100 more than what it is now. And I don't really care. Because of the hardware that's in it, remember what the Vita is going up against. The Vita's, forget Nintendo, the Vita is not going up against Nintendo. Nintendo's in its own market, it's in its own share. The 3DS is in its own era right now. It's basically stole some of the shine of the PSP. Reason why the PSP is still selling more than the Vita, which I'll get into that later. Well, I'll continue my main point is because of Monster Hunter. The Vita doesn't have Monster Hunter. The biggest selling point of the PSP was Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was the most important selling franchise on the PSP in Japan. Being that the 3DS got it, it's not going to sell that much, which is why it's kind of selling more than why it's going to sell more than the Vita itself. Next thing is the launch lineup. A lot of people say that the launch lineup is great, but most of it is all ports. Now the 3DS has its fair share of ports, but it had games that when people bought the 3DS, they were like, I can't wait for that. That's exactly why I'm buying a 3DS, because of Mario Kart, Monster Hunter, Mario Brothers, Luigi's Mansion, Kid Icarus, all the big AAA titles. People bought the 3DSs because of that. You know what I'm saying? They bought it because of that. They had something to wait for. With the Vita, there isn't really anything to wait for. Other than Call of Duty, maybe a Metal Gear game is going to show up. Maybe, you know what I mean, like Killzone and all that stuff. Now, as a Sony fan, don't get upset when I say this, but those mainstream games that you're waiting for don't sell that great in the States. They really don't. But aside from all that, let's get to the real reason. The Wi-Fi version is already basically sold out in Japan. They only have 500,000 to ship out, that they shipped out. The rest that's left off are 3G version, which is the reason why the stores are putting them, they're putting them on the shelves at a discounted price to get them out of the store. It's not because of the 3DS or anything like that. It's because no one wants to buy a 3G a GSM device where you have to pay monthly payments on a device that's already expensive. You pay $250 or you pay $300 because of the Vita, it's the 3G version, and then you're gonna pay $100 for a memory card, then you pay $40 to $50 per game and all this other stuff, then accessories and all that. That's kind of an investment for some people. That's like an investment like when you bought the PS3 when it launched. That was an investment. So a lot of people don't want to do that. They'd rather just buy the Wi-Fi version, which is kind of sold out in Japan, which is what the Japan audience wanted, was the Wi-Fi version. Now, the 200 that were supposed to ship weren't shipped because of the issues, and Sony put out an apology note about the issues, so they postponed the 200,000 that they were supposed to ship. So it kind of, the 500,000 that they shipped are basically almost sold. No one just wants 3G. Now, one of the biggest issues, if we don't see a leap forward with the Vita when Sony ships out more units in Japan and when it gets here, you have to remember, as much as I hate to say this, the era of no buttons, those mobile phone gamers, yeah, I understand a lot of you guys are gonna get mad. Yes, it is a phone. It is not a gaming device. Tell that to the 500 million people that download Angry Birds. Over 500 million. Tell that to them. Tell that to the guys that download Grand Theft Auto 3, the millions of people that downloaded that. Tell that to them, because apparently they don't give a shit what we, the hardcore fans, say. Now we are a minority of gamers. We are the minority. Those casual gamers have taken what we were last generation and basically spit on it. They are the gamers. We're the minority that sticks to a certain group, that sticks to a certain thing. We don't want change. Now, That's how it is. Those 500 million people that download, and what is it? 30 million of them play Angry Birds daily. And that's just Angry Birds. There are millions of other games that people play hardcore on these devices. And that's what we kind of have to go up against. Now, those people don't want to have a second device to carry. Look at the power of what the Galaxy S3 is going to do. The specs is going to be a higher version processor and a higher version GPU that's what's in the 3DS. And it's the same type of glass because OLED is a Samsung thing. So it's a better version of it with a higher display resolution of 1280 by 800. And then you're going to have all these developers, even though those games are stiff as hell, they look beautiful to those people that don't give a fuck about what we think about what gaming should be about with physical tactile feedback and actual buttons. That's what we think. They don't give a fuck what we think. We're the minority now. And that's something that we have to put in our heads. Now, yes, I'm saying this where someone's going to be like, well, why is the 3DS selling so much? Again, Nintendo's in its own market. Nintendo's in its own market because those same faggots are dying for Mario because they want Mario. Believe it or not, Mario sells like fucking drugs. It's crack. It really is. Basically, Nintendo franchise games are like crack. Now, is Resident Evil going to sell as much as Mario Kart? No. Is Kid Icarus going to sell as much as Mario Kart? No. None of those games are. Monster Hunter is to the Japan audience, and now because it's so popular because of late news and information, it's going to sell like hotcakes over here too. So those people that are not going to get those on their mobile phones, you know what I'm saying? That's why they're buying it. Because of the Nintendo fans and because of the actual the people that want Mario on their phones are not going to get it because Nintendo, I want to said, fuck you Apple, go suck a dick. You're not getting our shit. That's it. End of discussion. It's never going to happen. So they have no choice but to buy it there. Now, which is the sad part, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and some people are going to agree with me. Now, the Vita has games, great games that I'm looking forward to. Some amazing games, to my opinion, that are amazing. Not to what other people feel. That's my opinion. Same reason why someone would tell me that Mario Kart is the best game in the entire world. Nothing beats it. That's their opinion. I can't put my opinion on someone else's. So all you Sony fans and all you Nintendo fans that feel that your opinion is more valid, remember, it is your opinion and just yours. No one else's. That is it. It's just yours. So, now, what's it called? As I was saying, the Vita has great games, but like I was saying with the Monster Hunter and Mario Kart, those games aren't on mobile phones. They cannot be replicated. There's nothing out there that replicate those games like Zelda and all that other stuff. No, nothing. You can try, but there aren't any because Nintendo has it locked down. Now, on the sad note, a lot of games that are on the Vita, because of graphics and hardware and where development and all that other, and the new IPs look and all that, there are replicas of those games on mobile phones. And it's sad to say this, but those same guys that don't give a fuck about us buy those games and look at us and say, why are we spending that much money on this when I can have a phone that does it all? Which is why all these devices are now getting implementations of what phones have, like e-readers and mobile game stores and all that stuff. eShop is just going to get bigger. The PlayStation Network is just going to get bigger. Me personally, I don't want to see any of those consoles die. I don't want to see the 3DS die. Don't want to see the Vita die. Don't want to see different versions of them. I like them the way they are, and I don't want them to die. I want them to be that 10-year run like the other versions did. So you see what I'm saying? One gives you something better than the other. Now the only thing that if what changes is if Sony and Nintendo team up and everything collides. And I know some of you be like, fuck that, fuck you Dark Cloud. I'll say some dumb shit like that. But that's the only way I can see me owning one console. Until then, I'm gonna own them all. So I mean, there's nothing really to it. You guys just gotta understand, the sales in Japan is because of only the 500,000. or so they say, until next week's numbers come out, then they'll show. So if next week's numbers come out and the 200,000 did not ship and their numbers spiked up, that means there was a lie in Sony's sales. There was a lie in Sony's shipment. Apparently only 500,000 went and the 200,000 was stopped. So that's really it. That's all there really is to it. So it's not doing as bad as we say it is because of only being 500,000 being shipped. Look at what the numbers are. 325 plus 772,000. That's 400,000 plus, right? Well, that's 400,000, right? So that means the last 100,000 are probably like 3G versions that no one wanted to pick up because of that. Unless Sony lied about what they shipped. And there is 700,000 over there and the numbers is dipping. So we just kind of really have to wait and see what happens. Other than that, I love my 3DS. I love all the games that's coming for it. I will never trade that shit in for the world. Never, ever. And not only because I'm a Nintendo fan and I'm a shareholder of Nintendo shares, it's just never gonna happen. The same way I feel about the Vita. And my PSP and my DS, my DSi, all that stuff. I don't want to see any of these companies go. But you gotta remember, now that Nintendo's finally dishing out money to these developers, and now that there's multiple the way the developers work is, if there are millions of consoles out in the consumer's hand, the developers are gonna run there. So will the developers forget about Sony and go to the 3DS, regardless of hardware and graphics? We don't know. I personally don't know. We just gotta wait and see. That's how I personally feel about this whole thing. I don't think the Vita is going to go anywhere. It's not gonna sell like the 3DS, because it's sad to say this, but those same games that Sony had going for them, their main third-party games, the 3DS is getting with online features. And being that it's a mobile game, no one cares for home graphics in your hand. No one gives a shit. Those same people that's 500 million fucking Angry Birds players that also have tons, like Xenonius has over 200 million downloads. Xenonia is an RPG game. I think it's over 300 million now of fucking downloads. It's crazy numbers. It's like an amazing RPG on your phone. I've actually played it and it's not bad at all. You can play it on your DS too. It's in the DS market. But those people are playing those games hardcore. And they're still in the sunlight from the Vita, because the Vita to me was the kind of the end all to those guys. Now what I personally feel that Sony should do is, I don't know, man, some sort of like, give the fans something promising, like a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Stories, a new Metal Gear Solid from In Between or something like that we missed. Some sort of a great game to wait for, kind of like what the 3DS did. Now this video is going on pretty long and I don't want it to be that long. So if there's anything I missed, there's going to be more videos. This probably is going to be a part 1 or something like that. But you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. I don't want to see any of these companies go. And like I was saying with the 3DS and the mobile market, with the devices that are coming out now, they're just basically shitting on everything that we have. And I know everyone's going to keep saying this, it is not a gaming device. Tell that to them fucking faggots. Tell it to them iPhone, iPad, Android tablet eating cock motherfuckers that just live off of that alone. I may have those, I may play them on the go, but they're not my dedicated gaming to-go systems. Tell that to those guys that swear only by that hook up HDMI cables and PS3 controllers to their tablets and sit back and play fucking Modern Combat. This is a complete ripoff of Call of Duty and Battlefield 3, and go ham online with the shit, and now having tournaments. Tell that to those guys. I had a beef with a guy a while back, Sam the Geek, and he was saying something like this. I will never agree with him because of how mobile gaming is too expensive, because you have to keep buying new phones in order to stay up on your gaming needs. while you just buy one gaming device that gives you a 10-year run. 3DS and Vita. What the future holds for those systems, I can only imagine. You guys really think that what we have right now for the 3DS is great? Wait for 3 years later. Wait 5 years now with the Vita, 5 years now with the 3DS. That's when you'll see some great shit. This Mario Kart, this Monster Hunter, and all this other shit ain't shit to compare to what comes out in the next 5 years. And mobile gaming copies what the Vita has. You know what I'm saying? There are replicas of every fucking game on the Vita because most of Sony games are like, for every Sony exclusive, there's a plethora of other third-party games that are just like it. That's why Gameloft and EA and all those other companies, those mobile game companies, Camaro and all those guys, replicate those games, and those guys look at us and be like, why the fuck are you buying something else? You already have an Android phone. Why do this? So you see what I'm saying? It's a lose-lose situation for us. We're the minority. All I gotta say is go out, buy your Vita, buy your 3DS, buy your exclusives, buy your third party, support the companies, and show these fucking phone faggots that we are still here and we still stand strong. This is DarkCloud193, and this video is long as fuck, and I'm sorry. Hey, last time I checked, your bundles weren't breaking 10 million.